What's up, moviegoers? Welcome to the Marchio podcast. I'm your host, Anthony. Now, on today's episode, I'm going to be talking about streaming services. Yes, those lovable go-to binge-watching movie streaming services that you love. I'm going to be talking about that today. Where do we start with this? I mean, is it too much? Are there too much streaming services out there? Is there not enough? Is there too much content? What is going on? And, what is happening with movies and television now that's changing the landscape of the entertainment industry? I mean, we have a boatload of services that we just, want to watch, and we just sit there and, we don't even think about it. We pay the fee, we pay the amount, and, we just sit there and watching videos that we want to watch, and movies or TV shows. I mean, will cable be going out of business? Who knows? I mean, cable is like the big thing now. You have Comcast and Verizon, so, I mean, you have other things as well as Sling TV, but, you never know or what can happen in the next 50 to 100 years. I mean, not only streaming services, but back in the day, video rental stores were the big thing in the 90s and the 80s, and they are non-existent now because of streaming services. You could say that Netflix did kill Blockbuster, but some people disagree with that because people say that Blockbuster killed itself with late fees and people not wanting to pay anything. That is true in a way, but you never know. I will admit that there are things on streaming services that I would enjoy watching, and there are shows that I like to watch. But the thing is, one show could be on Netflix, the other show could be on another streaming service, like Disney Plus. And, people buy these subscriptions and then they cancel after a while after a show is done. I'm not going to lie, I do the same thing. Why keep a subscription if nothing's on there? And the prices for these streaming services are outstandingly crazy, so to speak. I mean, I'm going to give you a rundown of some of the prices on certain streaming services, and it's very interesting. So let's talk about that for a little bit. Apple TV is $4.99. Disney Plus is $6.99. Netflix is $12.99. Now that's if you're using Netflix on multiple devices and using HD formatting. That's why it's $12.99. For me personally, I have Netflix and I only pay about $7.99 to $8.99. So the total comes around to $10. But mine is on one TV and one TV only, and that's it. I don't have multiple devices because I feel there's no need to watch Netflix on multiple devices. For me, it's just the comfort of watching something in your own home, and that's it. Amazon Prime Video is $8.99. CBS All Access ad-free is $8.99. The new NBC Peacock ad-free is $9.99. Showtime is $10.99. Starz is $8.99. HBO Max is $14.99. And Hulu ad-free is $11.99. So those right there are some of the prices for certain streaming services. I didn't get to all of them, but of course these are the big names that are dominating the industry right now. And of course Netflix is the big one, followed by Disney Plus. And then I would say that Hulu after that is also big. Now, as we do know that Disney did buy Fox, and with that, Disney does also own Hulu as well. So you could say that they own one big conglomerate streaming service. Now, the thing is, Apple TV at $4.99, they have shows on there that are getting a lot of praise, like The Morning Show with Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon and Steve Carell, which I hear is outstanding, but will I pay $4.99 just to watch one show? No, I will not. And of course, Disney Plus, and I did get this subscription for Disney Plus. The only reason I got it was because of The Mandalorian. And other than that, I did cancel it after that because I found no reason to keep it. Once they have the Marvel shows coming on, that will be connected to the Marvel movies now. So I'll reorder my subscription then. Is it annoying to do that? No, you're saving money. It's $6.99. It's cheap. Get it. Watch the shows you want. Now, Netflix has an array of TV shows. Some outstanding TV shows. Some shows that are maybe just, a fad at the time. There are certain shows on there that are maybe overdone, but there are shows on there that are great. Stranger Things, of course, is a great show. Ozarks is a great show with Jason Bateman. The Haunting of Hill House is phenomenal. If you haven't seen that, check that out. I highly recommend that if you're into horror and amazing and outstanding filmmaking. Netflix has its own array, and also, like, if you watch a show or movie, it unlocks more things in that category. Now, I'll admit to you, listeners, I am a big fan of Japanese and Korean movies and TV shows. So once I watch a Japanese movie or a Korean show, I get all these Japanese TV shows and South Korean TV shows. Am I complaining? No, because that's my go-to enjoyment for entertainment on Netflix is Japanese and Korean movies and television shows. And sometimes, 9 times out of 10, they are better than what is actually on Netflix. So for me, that's my, enjoyment, and that's my laid back approach to watching Netflix and chill, how everybody says it nowadays. So also Amazon Prime Video, they have certain shows that are on there that are great, and some action, some good, and some shows are ending after 3 or 4 seasons on Amazon Prime, which is very interesting to see, while other shows are getting about close to 5 seasons on other streaming services. Now for me, Hulu's basically just a one thing where if you don't have cable and you miss a show, Hulu puts it on the next day. The only thing that gets me is that you have to pay $11.99 if you don't want commercials. The average amount. And the lower fee, if you leave the commercials on there, is $7.99. Of course, I'm going to go for the cheaper one for $7.99 and just let the commercials play. But if you're one of those people that want that $11.99, go for it. Enjoy your show. Binge watch it. Or just wait till the season ends and just binge watch all 24, 23 episodes of whatever show you're watching. And the thing is that certain shows that are on certain, the big 3 networks of CBS, ABC, and NBC are starting their own streaming services, and they're all starting their own way of doing things. It's different now, but is there too much of everything? Yes, there is. There's way too much, in my opinion. I mean, you have CBS All Access. Now, I'm a fan of Star Trek. I am a Trekkie, and I love those movies. I love the TV shows. The stories are great. The setting is amazing. And I have to admit that Star Trek Discovery and the new Picard show that's out, I would love to see that, but I just don't feel like paying $8.99 for something that I'm going to just watch and then get rid of. It's not really worth it. I mean, I would wait until all the episodes are out, and then I'd get it, do my free trial, and then end it, and that's it. And if you're not doing that, then, I mean, that's your own opinion. But for me, it's like it's easier when all the shows are out and all the episodes are out of the show you're watching, and you just wait, get the subscription, binge watch it over a weekend or maybe 2 weekends, and then cancel your subscription and move on to another show that you want to watch. I mean, some of these shows usually are released on DVD for, buying and keeping as a collection nowadays. Even DVDs and Blu-rays are being collected, and we don't know how long those DVDs and Blu-rays are going to last. And nowadays you don't see much DVD or Blu-ray movies based on shows or anything like that are released. I mean, sometimes Stranger Things is a great example. Seasons 1 and 2 are out on DVD, and, but why would you want that? You can want that for your own entertainment and enjoyment, but it's on Netflix. You're paying $12.99 for the higher bracket fee of it. Just watch it on Netflix. There's no reason to spend $25 on a box set. Wait till the show is over and then buy the box set. This way you have everything in one time. There are a lot of things people do out there that are very interesting and do differently, but, I have to admit that these streaming services are just way, way too much. And in January of 2020, there was news that Netflix and Apple have considered buying MGM as the streaming wars continue. Now, basically, either Apple or Netflix will buy MGM, and the estimated gross, ladies and gentlemen, listen to this number, is $10 billion. Yes, billion with a B. That's BILLION. Billion. Imagine that. Netflix or Apple buying MGM for $10 billion. When they buy this company, MGM, they will also buy the rights to certain film franchises. Now, these franchises, I'm just naming a few of them, are James Bond, Mad Max, the Rocky movies, RoboCop, and some of the Pink Panther movies. They have had preliminary talks about purchasing MGM, which is just not only their content library, but an entire studio and entertainment company. So once MGM, Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer, who has over the past 80, 100 years have made outstanding films, will be bought out by Netflix or Apple. Now, can you imagine that? Let that sink in for a little bit. A studio that was from the heyday of Hollywood, from the silent film era to the talkies, to color picture, is now being bought out by a streaming service, ladies and gentlemen. To me, that's just mind-blowing, because nowadays you have your movie stars signing up with streaming services and getting paid a ton of money. A ton of money. What is Jennifer Aniston getting paid for the morning show? How much are the kids on Stranger Things making from Netflix? The more subscriptions there are for certain streaming services, the more money they get, and the more they use, so to speak, our subscription to pay the actors, so to speak. Certain movies are getting praises, and some are getting award-nominated categories. Perfect example is The Irishman, directed by Martin Scorsese, which was picked up by Netflix and had a total of 10 Oscar nominations. If you said 20 years ago that a video streaming service would have 10 Oscar nominations from a movie directed by Martin Scorsese, you'd look at everyone like they're crazy. But that's the new norm today. Streaming services are the new norm. And the reason they have so much competition out there is because there's so many streaming services, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody wants to make original content. Now, that's great. Make original content, because Hollywood and the entertainment industry for movies and TV shows does need original content. Stop with the remakes, stop with the reboots, stop with the sequels. If a sequel is needed, make it. Make 3 or 4 movies, that's it. Don't go over 4. Close out the story, end it. If you take certain things into context, you have one favorite show on Netflix, you have one favorite show on Amazon, you have one favorite show on Hulu, and then you're thinking like, wow, I have all these streaming services, and on top of that, I have cable. You either buy all these streaming services and then get rid of your cable, because it could, be less or more than cable, depending on how many streaming services you have or want or what you do. Because soon enough, I'm pretty sure that the top 3 networks of CBS, ABC, and NBC will be going to streaming services. I mean, nowadays they used to release all episodes at one time, but now they're finding out that binge watching is a condition where some people are up 12, 13 hours straight watching one show just to get through it. And once they're done, they don't know what to do with themselves, because they just watch 12 to 13 episodes of a show in one day. I mean, yeah, I've watched episodes and binge watched a show, mostly if they're only 3 seasons and 30 minutes long, but nothing that's over 24 episodes. It's just insane. You at least need a few weekends to binge watch a show. But if you binge watch a show, you're getting that rush of, wow, I watched it, let me talk about it. It's the water cooler Monday talk of the town. And I'm pretty sure there's someone out there who has cable and has all the streaming services. You know what? More power to you. You're watching great things, but you're also watching the same thing over and over again. You watch a show on NBC, it comes on Hulu the next day. You already watched it. What are you going to watch it again for? Some of these streaming services have old movies on there that you want to watch again. Go for it. But I have no desire to watch certain things. No, there's a streaming service for TCM where they play old classic movies. Now that I want, because I like old classic black and white movies. The Humphrey Bogart, the James Cagney, the John Wayne, the Edward G. Robinson movies, the old gangster movies, the love story movies, the good comedy. Those movies like that, give me more of that. Give me a streaming service where it's like that. The only reason these companies sometimes do streaming services is because they can't put those certain content on live television because it's too much for the FCC. You get more range and God willing, more money to do something on a streaming service because you have carte blanche to do anything. But there comes a time where you sit back and realize, do I really want to spend all this money on a streaming service? Because I have too many of them and all these shows are on there. Or do I want to just keep cable and put on all the premium channels that I want? And let me tell you, sometimes those premium channels that you have with your cable provider, those movies are boring because you've seen it already and it's the same thing over and over again. Sometimes when you get it, there's nothing ever on. Probably the old Saturday night premiere movies, but hey, nowadays you watch a movie and it's out in 3 months. You want to go get your soda and popcorn at the movie theater and enjoy that action flick, that chick flick, that horror movie, that comedy you want, go for it. But I realized in the last couple years that you go see a movie and within 1 year time it's already out on streaming, or it's already out on demand, or VOD, or video on demand. To give you a perfect example, there's a movie that I wanted to see, and it came out around September of a certain year, and I was like, you know what, I didn't have any time to see it or anything, so I was like, I'll get around to see it. And by the time I did want to see it, it was out of the theater, and I was like, all right, maybe it wasn't meant for me to see. So I turn around, I'm like, wow, let me see if it's on demand or on a streaming service. Lo and behold, it was. I didn't pay $13, $15, $17 for a movie ticket, plus $20 on top of that to eat popcorn and a soda just to sit in a movie theater. That's a total of $40 for one person. Close to $50 to $80 for two people, for couples, for a movie night. Now you do the math. If you wait 3 months to 6 months, or maybe less than that, for it to come out on streaming or on demand, you barely paid $20 or less for that. Think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Think about that. And I'm doing this episode for you, the listeners, because in my opinion, I see that there are just too many streaming services out there. And with it being overdone, I'm sure that, some people see the good about it, some people see the bad about it. But for me, I slightly see the bad about it. We don't know what's going to happen within 20 to 40 years with streaming services. Will movie theaters go out of business because of streaming services? We never know what's going to happen with the entertainment industry, because every day, every month, every year, every second, every minute, it's changing right in front of our eyes. Yes, Hollywood's full of scandals and everything. Hollywood's been full of scandals ever since it was created. There's no ill toward that. I'm here to give you the facts. Hollywood and the entertainment industry changes rapidly. You watch one news story for an hour, and all of a sudden something bigger takes over that. And it's just like the streaming services. One streaming service is out, another comes out, it could be bigger. But then you realize, wait a minute, if video rental stores went out of business because of so-called streaming services and streaming media, what will happen to streaming services themselves? Think about that. Will someone come up with something that beats streaming services, where, a movie studio makes a film, and instead of releasing it in theaters on a Friday, they release it in a streaming service? That'll be a first. This way you can enjoy the movie, and you never know, it could be good or bad. Also, with the pertaining to the viewership, we don't know what Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, and all these streaming services use to calculate their viewership. Is it an algorithm? Could be a data punching? Who knows? We don't know. But whatever they do, it's interesting. And I'm pretty sure that, there's going to be talk of releasing certain things and information about how they collect their data about who watches what, and, if you're watching it or not. I mean, Netflix even asks you if you're watching that one show you're watching. I was like, oh, are you still watching Ozark? Yes, I am. I just left it on. I'm sorry, Netflix. I didn't mean to offend you. But it comes a time where, will Apple buy Netflix? Will Netflix buy Apple? Will there be the only two of them standing and everybody else just goes under the water? We never know. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, what new content, what new original content is going to be out there on these streaming services. And like I said, if you want to get all the streaming services, go for it. If you don't, great. Some people have just one subscription, 2 subscriptions, no subscriptions. But it's a day and age now where streaming services and streaming media on demand, video on demand, is a new thing. We want things faster to us. We want to watch things. We want to enjoy them. We want to talk about them. And it can change the landscape of filmmaking, directors, producers, actors, writers, Hollywood, and the entertainment industry with a snap of a finger. Just like that. So with that, I leave you this question. Do you think there are too much streaming services out there? And if so, why? And if you could change one thing about streaming services, what would it be and why? And one more. Which streaming service for you is most beneficial and rewarding? Leave your comments in the description box below. I'm very curious to see what your answers are. Ladies and gentlemen, that does it for today's episode. I'm your host, Anthony, and you've been listening to the Marchio Podcast.